I got some numbers for you guys to kick off this episode. Last year, through 12 weeks, Jalen Ramsey had allowed 218 yards in coverage. This year, it's almost double that. It's at 412. Last year, he only allowed 1 touchdown. This year, he's at 5 so far. He had 3 interceptions through this point last season. Now it's just 1. His completion percentage allowed was 56%. Now it's at 62. His passer rating when targeted was a shade below 40 last year at 39.5. Now it's at 112.3. And his EPA when targeted ranked 7th last year, and this year it ranks 75th, which is way worse. And I want to know why those numbers have gotten way worse. So that's what this film review is about. One theory that I might be willing to accept is he's not as fast as he used to be. If you look at him in about the middle of last year, here he is up against Justin Jefferson. Jefferson's going to run a double move. Right there, he settles down at the sticks, and Ramsey reacts to that. He plants that back foot in the ground, ready to burst forward, but it's a double move. Jefferson takes off vertically down the sideline, but Ramsey reacts to this, plants his other foot in the ground, is able to flip his hips and press Jefferson towards the sideline and make this pass incomplete. This is great speed after breaking on this and still being able to seal off Jefferson. But Ramsey is also the most physical corner in the league. He racked up 79 tackles last year, playing with reckless abandon in the slot. 11 of those tackles were for loss, most in the league for a corner. As by far the Rams' most physical corner, he spends a decent amount of time away from the passing strength, right? He's not guarding these 2 wide receivers. He's down here at the bottom of your screen guarding these 2 tight ends, right? Big physical tight ends. He spends a lot of time on them. He's been targeted more versus tight ends than any other corner in the league this season. Ramsey is one of those corners who is not afraid to put his body on the line and hit these dudes, and maybe that has taken some sort of toll on his high-end athleticism. When you see him get beat in man coverage versus Olave, he really maintains that back pedal for a long time here, and there's a reason why he's doing that. Olave is a guy who likes to get right on your heels, and then when you flip your hips to respect his vertical speed, then he'll break it in or out or inside, and you'll be beat, you'll be out of position. So Ramsey doesn't want to fall victim to that, so he really stays in that back pedal and doesn't flip his hips until he's really sure that Olave is going vertical. But Olave is fast, man. You need to respect that speed, and maybe Ramsey thought he had more than he actually does because he flips his hips a little late here, and Olave runs right by him for a huge touchdown. On this play in the opener, it kind of just looks like he lets Diggs run right by him. Maybe he thought he's got eyes on Allen, as you can see. Maybe he was just trying to bait him into this throw because Ramsey thought he had the speed to catch up with this once it was in the air, and he just doesn't, and they score a big touchdown on him. On the big Kelsey touchdown last week, he's in man coverage, and he starts out pretty well getting hands on Kelsey and kind of disrupting the route. But Kelsey's able to shake him and catch this ball at about the 20-yard line, and Ramsey can't catch up with him until it's too late. On this play, he once again is matched up on Kelsey, and well, yes, he has outside leverage, and Kelsey is running a crossing route. You might expect him to close some ground on Kelsey on this play, and he really doesn't throughout the whole thing. So I could definitely see him not being as fast as he used to be, maybe. But I'm not sure how much I really even believe that, even though it's kind of my own theory. Like, I see plays like this one versus the Saints. He's at the top of the screen here, and the Saints are going to like fake this sweep with Taysom Hill and then try to sneak this corner route in behind him. And watch when Ramsey recognizes this and how fast he flies backwards. Like, that's still some pretty good burst there for someone who is, I shouldn't even say supposedly because I'm the one supposing it, but supposedly slow. There were multiple times in this Saints game where he really looked explosive, planting his foot in the ground and coming downhill to disrupt these passes. I showed this play already, but I'll show it again in this context, right? Recognizes what's happening and then just flies downfield to plant this tight end on a 3rd down. I think there is a chance maybe his long speed isn't quite what it used to be, but I don't think athleticism is really his problem right now. I think the bigger reason that Jalen Ramsey is having a down season are these guys. Justin Hollins, A'Shawn Robinson, Greg Gaines, and Leonard Floyd. All right. Andy Dalton is going to take a 7-step drop back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? You got Aaron Donald getting pressure on one of the league's best right tackles, Ryan Ramczyk. Just hits the swim move and takes off towards Dalton. But there's the play action split zone, and the fullback is coming by to chip Donald and take him out the play as best he can. But where are the other guys? Not getting any pressure, not getting any pressure, not getting any pressure, not getting any pressure. And you're going to let Andy Dalton off a 7-step drop step up in the pocket and dot you up because you can't get any pressure, and it's hard to play corner when the quarterback doesn't have to worry about anything. How long do you think Mahomes could have held it on this play if he wanted to? I think he could have held it for 30 seconds if he really wanted to. I don't care if you have prime Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, and Jalen Ramsey triple teaming Travis Kelce. If you give Mahomes that much time, eventually he's going to make something happen. And Ramsey honestly has good coverage on Kelce here, right? Gets in his frame with the jam and, kind of disrupts the timing of this route here for a little bit. And he's pretty much locked down for 1, 2, 3, 3 seconds. And usually the ball is out by then for most quarterbacks, but, Mahomes could have held it 5 times that long. And sometimes you lose to a great player after that amount of time. Like, that doesn't mean you're totally washed. The Rams' pressure rate this season is 20.5%. That is by far the lowest in the league, way lower than the Bears, whose best pass rusher is, I don't even know at this point. Not only is it the lowest this season, but going back over the last 5, there's still, by a decent margin, the lowest pressure rate over the first 12 weeks of a season. And now Aaron Donald has a high ankle sprain. This is truly going to be some unwatchable shit over the next couple weeks. A couple of Ramsey's big losses this year have also been good coverage, but just a better throw and catch by one of the league's top players. On this play, he's got pretty good coverage on Hopkins the whole time, mirroring the release, flipping his hips, pushing him towards the sideline. I mean, this is well covered when the ball gets thrown, but he gets his head around a little late, and it's a perfectly thrown back shoulder fade to one of the best receivers in the league, and it gets caught. Sometimes good offense beats good defense, but I don't want to make endless excuses for Ramsey. I mean, there are corners playing better than him. He has been beat a couple times, and he has made some lazy mistakes. Ramsey has always had a habit of being a bit of a gambler, having some bad habits, and this year he's just kind of losing those gambles more than usual. On this play, Gabe Davis is going to pretend like he's going to block for a minute here, and then he's going to release vertically. Ramsey can't get distracted here. He's the deep thirds player, and when Allen rolls out, he's got to trust this linebacker to make that play and bail out and defend the wide receiver, I think. But there's a potential for a sack or a tackle for loss here, so he flies downhill. Gabe Davis is wide open behind him, and this is a touchdown. I am pretty sure this one's on him, but I guess I'm not 100% positive. Basically, to wrap this thing up, there are guys having a better season than him. If you're voting for the Pro Bowl, vote for Ahmad Gardner or Tyson Campbell down in Jacksonville, either of the Eagles corners, Slay or Bradbury, Trayvon Diggs in Dallas, Patrick Surtain, maybe J.C. Horn. I'm sure I'm missing some. Yes, but with all that being said, even though he might be having a down season, if I could take any corner in the league, I still would probably take Ramsey. I still think he's that talented. On this play, for example, this is like the best cornerback play of the season. It is a must-win situation, and the Rams are playing cover 3. They're going to rotate this safety down. There's a guy in the deep middle. Ramsey's in a deep third, and then this other corner is in a deep third. And what the Ravens are going to do is try to distract him with Kyle Pitts running vertically right here, and then something right up the pipe. That's the real weakness in the cover 3, is something right up the seams. So they're trying to widen Ramsey towards the sideline with this route from Kyle Pitts, but he doesn't bite. He's got his eyes on that seam route. And then once Mariota throws it, he says, "Give me that shit," rises up, plucks this out of the air for a game-winning interception. I mean, at the catch point, that is completely dominant. That is all of his recognition and physical skills in one to win one of the few games that the Rams have won this season for them. I still hold him in a very high regard, even though I recognize that he's maybe not having the season that we would like from him. Ramsey is so good that anytime he gets beat, it goes viral, but even when he does get beat, there are always a few plays in the game, like in the Super Bowl, for example, where he's on T. Higgins, flips his hips, gets his head around, and breaks up this pass in the end zone. And the Rams probably do not win the Super Bowl if he doesn't do that on 3rd and 10. On this play, he is in a deep quarter here, and he's going to take the vertical route, which is, I think that's Bryan Edwards again, but there's a bit of a blown coverage. Ernest Jones gets a bit distracted, and Kyle Pitts comes into his zone too, and Jalen Ramsey has got to deal with a 2v1, which, of course, he ends up doing perfectly and breaks up this catch from Kyle Pitts at the catch point. Honestly, if the question is, should we still consider Jalen Ramsey to be a great corner? I find that question a little bit boring because I think the answer is yes. I think what is an interesting question is how long will he stay on the Rams? Now, Ramsey is incredibly valuable to what the Rams do, all right? They can move him anywhere they want. They can move him in the slot. They make him follow guys around from time to time. Whatever the game plan calls for, Ramsey can do. But the Rams are playing a lot of soft zone coverage these days, and if on 3rd and 1, you've got Jalen Ramsey like dropping into the deep third, right, and something is getting caught in front of him, like how much value is he really adding when you ask him to do these things a substantial amount of the time? Ramsey adds a ton of value to the Rams defense, but this dude is Leonard Floyd. This dude is Justin Hollins, all right? There's not a lot of other talent on this team right now. They could use some assets to replenish something soon here. If the Rams can't turn this thing around and they've got a 29-year-old superstar asset whose contract they can get off of, it would not surprise me to see Ramsey moved in the next 2 off seasons. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's something to watch out for, though. I would love to see Ramsey go somewhere where they play press man coverage all the time. There's just not a lot of those teams out there. Maybe Detroit will add him as the final piece of their rebuild 2 seasons from now. That would be pretty cool. Keep an eye out for that one. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. As always, I'll be back next Wednesday with another film review. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see. And in the meantime, check out all the other stuff on the Stay Hot channel. And yeah, I'll see you around.